Party started. All right. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? It's your boy King David. Let's go. Let's get it. Bear with me while I get a few things situated. How is everybody doing tonight? I hope you're doing great. Hope you're doing well. I know I am. Listen, I told you guys we're going to do a podcast, so here we are. Do a reaction to a podcast that I was watching earlier from the lovely married Miss Dee. Her name ain't Miss Dee, it's Dee. Y'all know I stretched it out like that. Just bear with me. Let's see here. Gotta bring it up to make sure the audio is good. See what's going on. Okay, the audio is great. Fantastic. Listen, so I wanted to get on here and just react to this video I seen with the YouTuber Dee and her reacting to this podcast, the viral show podcast. I'm not quite sure. I'll look at it when we get started. But there's a few 40-year-olds on here, and there's a dynamic between all three. The one on the end, the one that's going off the most, she'll let you know her family dynamic. But the one in the middle was raised by, a two-parent household. And you can see the obvious difference in the way she carries herself and also the kind of relationship that she's in right now. So this kind of stuff's important. Hang on for a second. Turn this down. I'm only going to hold you guys for about 20 minutes tonight. I got to get on TikTok. Listen, I've taken a couple days off and I was just hanging out with my son, just having a good time. You know, time goes by so fast. When I get a 4-day weekend, you got to take advantage of it, you know. So I'm doing that. You know, you guys make sure you're making time for your kids, not just using your kids for props, for videos or whatever, but genuinely making time for your kids, right? Off camera. If you want to do it on camera, that's cool, but definitely some one-on-one off-camera time, okay? Let's keep it real, all right? Also, I'm trying a few different things with the, if you guys don't know, which I know you guys are going to be like, oh, here we go again, something else. You know, I dibbled and dabbled in photography back in 2016, 17, and 18 on my first YouTube channel, Black Savage. So I like messing around with the ISO and the shutter speed and all that kind of stuff. So if it looks kind of cartoonish or whatever, bear with me. I'm going to look at the replay, tweak it a little bit. You know what I mean? I just like messing with stuff. I'm an engineer. I can't help it. So if it looks kind of cartoonish, just bear with it. I appreciate you guys joining me again. You know, hit the like button, share the live, subscribe. Look, I'm watching, content from only really married women. Again, this YouTuber, her name is Dee. She's married and she puts out really good content from a level-headed perspective. Just like Danica Marie and Crimson Cure, married women, been married over time. They know what it takes to maintain a relationship, compromises, talking, not just, going off emotion and, you know what I mean? So I like listening to level-headed women, dropping level-headed content because they can exclude themselves from a situation because they're not single. They're not looking and they're not jaded. So they're able to just put out some good stuff. Ooh, what's going on, Chia? Sorry, y'all. Didn't realize that the music has stopped. If I'm going to pay for the subscription, the music will be playing in the background from now on. I am sorry if it bothers you, but it's late night. It's a quiet storm. Let's turn this up just a little bit. Look, tonight we're going to be watching these ladies go at it and try to explain their delusional realities that they live in. You have to be careful out there while you're dating. If you listen to them, you will be drugged down the rabbit hole into the matrix, into la delusional land with her. And you both will be lost, and then she'll chuck the deuces on you and leave you in that hole. So, again, whatever she's saying, understand something. Chad and Tyrone don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. I get the draws if I want them. And if I don't want them, they can wait, you know? Now, you don't want to be operating out of that kind of energy of, whatever she's telling you that she wants you to do. I don't hear all that. You know what I'm saying? We set the pace. Right now, most women that are tapped in, women, most of them are, they watch a lot of social media. While you're like, blowing it off, all the social media she's watching, she's literally tapping in to information that you're not privy to. She's watching stuff from a bird's eye view, and you're thinking she's just watching. No. She's accumulating information. She's running analytics in her head, and she upgrades accordingly. You underestimate that woman. I don't underestimate women, okay? So I watch stuff online all the time. You know what I'm saying? I like to see the shifts in the energy. I like to see when I put out energy, how it's received. And women will move accordingly when a man is operating in his masculine energy and he doesn't seem like he's just some, jaded, dictator, right? You got to have a heart. I have a child. I'm very grounded. I'm very family orientated, but as a man, I have a certain kind of way I move. I'm noticing that women that are trying to get men like me are starting to speak and move accordingly, but you got to be careful because these Jezebels out here are seeing the movement and they're able to be a chameleon and adjust accordingly. Now, with no further ado, I only took 5 minutes for that intro. We're going to get into the video. Remember, you guys, hit the like button, share the live, and subscribe.
Man's reality and what he really wanted. A lot of times those men who were stepdads back in the day, they just went along with whatever the woman said because they wanted to keep the peace. And they had a good thing going there and they didn't want to mess it up and they don't want to cause any conflict in the home. So they just go with whatever the women say and stay out of it. Now it's a different time where men are speaking up. Men are saying, "Oh, we don't want this, we don't want that," and we have to, as women who say they want a man, you have to understand that men want something too. It's not all about just your needs, but they want their needs met as well. So yeah, that's where I'm coming from with it. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip and definitely chime in the comments, you guys. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Here we go.
Trying to get some advice, right? Because I'm listening, and right. That's why I said earlier, like the reason why I'm putting time into my daughter because I'm still figuring me out, and I don't really know what I want, And I don't think about my age, but I hear y'all talking about age, so maybe that's something that I should be thinking about too. I don't know yet, but I'm just wondering, like, well, then when does it come to a point in time that I should feel like I'm not a part of this dating pool anymore because I'm
gonna tell you that right
getting
now.
The clock is ticking.
I'm gonna tell you that right now.
No, I know, but I want to hear their advice.
This is my advice. Let your ego go. Ego is the leading cause of all misery. Right now, when I hear you speak, all I hear is ego. Mm-hmm. I look good. Oh, age don't matter. We're telling you, it fucking matters.
Not to say I don't look 40. That's all I say.
Listen, however you think you look.
The age never comes up, ever.
Listen, because they're...
He's trying to tell her. He's trying to tell her from a man's perspective. And she's just like, she's not listening, man. She's not going to listen.
It's only a fuck around thing. Mm-hmm. Once it gets serious, it's coming up.
Mm-hmm. Now, just to give a bit of context, there's more parts to this, and I like their conversation. I like their podcast, where she was talking about she's 40, but she doesn't look 40. Now, she doesn't look bad for 40, but she thinks that in her mind that because she doesn't look 40, that it shouldn't matter, and she has kids also. And so she was talking about her relationship with the guys, she's been in relationships with, and she was basically saying it's not serious relationships. It's relationships where she don't want it to be serious. It's just somebody she's messing around with. And, and she said age never came up. And he's telling her based on what, her reality is that age wouldn't, it doesn't matter if he's just clapping the cheeks. You know what I'm saying? If you're giving him the cheeks and you're giving him what he wants and he's not taking you seriously, then yeah, of course it wouldn't matter. But for the man that she will want to take seriously, it's going to matter in the fact that she already has a child or two or how many she already has a child. So a lot of women hate to listen, hate to accept. I'll say that the fact that as you get older, your value goes down when it comes to dating. You know what I'm saying? And they take it personally, like, oh, my value as a person. No, they're not talking about you. You value yourself and carry.
Great point. Listen, it's nothing personal. It's your marketplace value. That's all we're speaking about. And when they take it and make it personal about themselves, take it out of context, they're going to always play devil's advocate and give you their opposing opinion like you're attacking them personally, because honestly, let's be real. Your truth is triggering their demons, and all the baggage, all the bodies, all the memories of their legs being in the air and doing gymnastics in the bedroom, splish, splash, taking a bath. It's all catching up to them all at the same time, causing an emotional reaction. It is what it is. What can you do? Let's continue. Ooh. Sorry, y'all. Ooh. Got a little ahead of myself on that. Where are we at? I think we're right here. I think we're at 8 minutes. Like 8.
But
Yeah.
what they're saying is, and what everybody is saying is, hey, on the dating market, most men, and you'll hear them say this again, and we've heard this over and over and over. It is almost like beating a dead horse now, but hopefully it's not for these women. It's for the next generation of women. And that's what I keep reminding, telling myself that, hey, these women are lost, and a lot of these women just won't get it, and they're going to proceed to try to do what they think is right without getting the outcomes. But it's for the next generation, because if the next generation of women that, don't have a different perspective or a different, something else to listen to, then they're just going to be lost as well. So we got to give the women coming after these women some insight, something other than what they may be getting from their mothers. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully that'll help the next generation. But yeah, basically a lot of women don't want to accept the fact that once they've had children, once they become single mothers, and as they get older, their value goes down on the dating scene. A lot of women don't want to accept that. And I get it, because you don't want to think that your options are lost, that you don't have any more options. But see, the thing is, nobody's ever told women that, you can run out of options. Women just think that this is that they'll never run out of options, that there's always going to be a man there. And when they decide that they want a serious relationship, or when they decide they want marriage, that the men are just going to be available for them. And that's the reality that a lot of women have to face nowadays, that that's just not true. And so you hear women becoming more and more upset because they passed on a lot of good men in their youth, and now they thought that they could double back whenever they were ready and get these men. And a lot of those men have moved on. A lot of those men have gotten married. You see tons of videos of women talking about they, basically ignored the guy or whatever, was not really interested. Then when she was ready to try to, talk to him or whatever, or, reach back or spin the block, however y'all say it, then this man had moved on. And a lot of them end up finding a woman that they want to get married. And now these women are talking about how sick they feel because you missed out on a good one. A lot of women have missed out on good men, and they know it, because they thought they were going to have these everlasting options to choose from. And now that they're getting older, they're realizing that these options are very slim, and that you're not the only cooch on the block.
Ooh. Listen, I couldn't have said it better. I mean, do you not agree? Listen, they were fed this dream by the gynocracy. Shout out to Legion of Men. I got that from him. And they don't seem to understand that that's not how things work. That we're telling them what we want, and that they need to get in alignment. If they don't, then they can age out. Now, while they're talking this crazy stuff, like, oh, well, I ain't found Mr. Right yet, da, 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 da. As you'll see, what does that matter? Okay? Oh, I'm just waiting on Mr. Right. If you're over 40 and you're still waiting, time is winding down. You know what I'm saying? If you're still holding out, I don't know who you holding out for. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get into this. Listen to him talk.
And now there's younger versions of you that men are going to probably go towards first. They're not going to just jump and go for, the older woman who has already an already established family. That they're more likely, not saying it's impossible, but the likelihood of that happening is small. They're gonna go more for the younger, fertile women who they can have their make babies with and create families with, as opposed to you, who's established in your own right and you already created a family, and now you're looking for a man to come in and just sustain it for you. Most men aren't looking for that, and it doesn't mean that you're an older woman and you can't find a man, but your options are slim. That's what they're saying, and I think women just hate to accept that. This is why I say a lot of them are in denial, because they don't want to accept the fact that you wasted a lot of time, you passed over good dudes, and now your options have run out for the most part. So the pickings are slim. I would say that.
They don't think the pickings are slim, but the pickings are slim. Okay? These alpha type of guys that they want are not going for 40-year-old women and up. Now listen, I understand the empowerment movement, and I understand that with modern technology, women have become cyborgs and they can upgrade themselves with whatever they can afford. However, do you want that GMO cyborg at 40, 45, 50 that might break down the side of the road? Or would you want a fresh model, right? Going to the gym, working out natural. Don't have to stretch too much. You ain't got to worry about them popping something out of place and being out of commission for a week or so. I'm just being real. Let's talk real here. Looking like you're in your 30s and your 40s, or being in your 30s and looking like you're in your late 20s, and being in your 20s are two different things, especially if you're not working out and eating right and sleeping right, and you're drinking and smoking and stuff like that. That stuff catches up to you in your 40s, in your late 30s. So let's not play around with this, okay? You can think that you look a certain kind of way online. In person, though, and them guts are still going to be 40, 45, 50, okay?
Let's continue.
It's coming up, and it fucking matters. If I'm 40, I worked my whole life to become this successful man, and now it's time for me to reap the benefits of my labor. Why would I take used goods? I'm not going to listen. Hold on, time out.
I want to know.
Listen, I'm about to tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
You're used.
You know what used goods are.
Kid.
Okay.
Bottom line, you're used.
Listen, I don't take it harsh. It's whatever.
Listen. If there was this, I want a fucking Mercedes, right? I could never afford it.
Don't compare me to a car.
I have to. Is this an analogy?
Nah, look, just let him finish.
It's an analogy.
Okay.
I spent from 18 to 40 to be able to afford this car. I got the money to pay it in full, brand new off the lot.
$300,000.
Why the fuck would I walk past that one and go get the used one?
Okay, can I answer that? Let me interrupt right here and answer that.
Go ahead.
So there are young women in their 20s that I know, or stories I've heard, that are not upstanding women. So if you tell me because a woman is 20, let's just say she's 29, because a woman is 29 years old because she has the youth and she doesn't have a kid, but then you see me with a job, I pay my own bills.
We don't care.
Let me finish. I want to give the whole platform so I can hear the entire answer. Okay. So, and I feel like if we're talking about adulthood here, a man should care about this.
Not a little boy, right?
Yes. So you're telling me you got a 29-year-old who has her youth or whatever,
Shame
right?
Tactics.
And she has her youth, and then you have a 40-year-old woman who doesn't look her age. You don't know until you have to ask her. But from the outside in, all you see is, oh, I like her. She seems to have it together. She goes to work every day. I've been in her house always clean. She always cooking. Her daughter not bad. Her daughter, she's into her kid. She respects her parents. Like, you seeing all these good qualities, of this woman, but then you have a 29-year-old who out in the streets, out till 3, 4, 5 in the morning. She may take a pill every now and then.
Hold on.
Well, and then they basically gonna explain what I'm about to say. But look, I think she missing the point. The point is men don't want to take on women who've already created children with another man. They don't really want to take on somebody else's children. Now, granted, there are a small percentage of men who would do that. But the majority of men are saying, no, we want to have our own kids. We want to create our own families. We don't want to come into your ready-made situation. And then you're older on top of that. You've already established yourself. You're setting your ways. You have your way of living. And now I have to come in to what you've already established. When men want to be, establish their own households and their own relationships and their own families. And I think that's what women are missing. And it's not the man's fault that at 20 years old you didn't know your worth. And all of a sudden now you're 40 and now you kind of know your worth and kind of think you know what you want, and you want men.
You guys do me a favor, hit the like button, share the live, and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that.
To settle. As much as women talk about not settling, and nobody's trying to say that you have to, but you got to understand, men don't want to settle either. So they don't want to settle for you. They don't want to settle for baby mamas. And it's unfortunate that these women were not taught this. She asked the question about at what point should she just, I don't know if she asked that yet, but if she hasn't, she's gonna say, at what point should she remove herself from the dating? Should she, because she's too old? Well, I mean, you already have children. You're 40. I mean, what else do you want? If you're not getting what you want out of it, then maybe that's the time for you to remove yourself. If you're not what men.
She knows it's too late for her. She knows it. Let's see if we can get in the thick of this before I gotta go. Let's see. Super chats. Let's go. She's going in. Let me see. They talking.
I don't want to get married. Who said I want marriage? I don't want marriage. They don't know what they want. They want a man, but they don't want marriage. You want commitment, but you don't want marriage. You want a child, but you don't want marriage. It's just all over the place. It's all out of whack, out of control, and it's just a lot. It really is a lot going on. Once again, in that mess, there are a few who actually get it and are open. Not every woman is lost in the sauce. I want y'all to believe that.
That's true, but there are very few and in between, and it's like a needle in a haystack, and the bad ones are louder than the good ones. So I will agree with her on that, but I got to put that caveat in there, okay? We know that not all, ladies act like these females, but again, needle in a haystack, very small percentage. You know what I'm saying? A pebble on a big-ass beach. What do you want us to do?
Not every one of them are like
he wants, right?
I don't know what
so
I want.
If God,
in a man.
hold on, listen. If God dropped that man in your lap, you don't know how to keep it.
Okay.
You don't even know what to do with him.
What do you mean I don't know what to do with it?
You said I pay my own bills. We don't give a fuck. I keep my house clean. We don't give a fuck.
No, you don't give a fuck.
No,
some men do give a fuck.
I'm gonna tell you, listen.
Like y'all said, some women, I gave you the worst case scenario of a woman.
No, wait, let me say this real quick before I forget. Look, what he just said was so true. There are a lot of women who claim they want husbands and they want all of these things. But, this is very common amongst a lot of women. You want something. First off, you don't even know how to get it. And then you don't even know what it is that you really want. This is why I say women are confused the majority of the time. You want something, you don't know. And if I'll just say this. Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, KS. He used to say this all the time.
There we go. Look, they know what they want. They know what they can't get. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's going on, Gucci? What's going on? How you doing? How you living? Gucci 2 times. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you joining me. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate y'all. I'm not going to run y'all over 30 minutes, but, sometimes it takes a little while to get this reaction stuff going right, to get in the thick of things, but also still give you context. But These women know what's going on, man. What they're telling us and saying to us is not how they really feel. And Chad and Tyrone don't go by the same rules. So when they're in a debate arguing with a guy that they believe to be somebody that's dateable online, they have to make their points. They will bend reality. They will bend over backwards. The mental gymnastics will be crazy. None of it's going to make any sense. They're going to pull in all kind of stuff to get their point across. They feel like they're just trying to win an argument. They don't care if it defies reality. They don't care how it sounds. They just don't care. So you're going to hear a lot of this crazy stuff.
The majority of these women are out here looking for a certain caliber of a man, and you don't even know what that man is looking for. How are you going to get him if you don't even know what he's looking for?
They don't care. They don't care what we're looking for, and they're just really trying to compete with their friends, and they're not going to get what they want, but it is what it is.
This is the delusional aspect of a lot of our women. If you're out here wanting something, you need to know what that man is looking for in order to get him. But they're so stuck on themselves, like they're the prize. I'm this and I'm that. Social media has made these women think that they're, everything in 20 bags of chips, and they're just, every man would just want them, even if they're overweight, even if they have 4 kids, even if they're just not what a man of that caliber will want. They still believe in their minds, they feel that this man is going to just want them. He could make millions of dollars. He could, have all access to any woman he wants. But
okay, gentlemen, I know you feel like this is, might be kind of anecdotal, but it's not. Like seriously, like they really believe this stuff, because a lot of people aren't like woke like that. So they see what they see on TV and they believe the reality that's presented to them, and they're not really, coherent enough to really pay attention to what's really going on around them and look for themselves, as opposed to the narrow, vision that social media gives them, which is how people stay programmed anyway, right? Like, the main ones feed it out through social media. They make sure everybody's pretty much stuck on social media any kind of way they get us on there. And then once we're on there, they start brainwashing us through whatever mechanism they want to push whatever agenda or campaigns or whatever. So when they're openly, which is part of what they have to do anyway, is part of the universal law, they got to tell you what they're going to do. When they're doing this stuff and saying stuff like, depopulating, people are thinking like they're going to just, have a shoot, line, a gun line. No, like they have different ways to do what they're going to get done. And part of it is this kind of stuff right here, where they just turn us against each other, have women thinking in this delusion, because they know the only way to really take down a man is through his woman, because otherwise he's got all his defenses up through every other means. And most great kings and leaders were taken down by women, king killers. So you have to just be really careful out here, extremely careful. And these women are delusional, and they believe they're the prize, right? They're the prize, but they haven't built any infrastructure. They have never had any kind of century-old legacy or anything talking about there was some kind of, woman leader and some point in history where women were leading everything and building everything. And no, most of the time when it gets to this point where things like this is happening in the world, is kind of coming to the end of days and, the end of that empire, that great empire. So we're not going to act like this is not happening. What's going on, Fendi? Now, I mean, you know it. You know what I'm saying? So we have to maintain the frame. We got to keep the energy right. We have to maintain the balance and remind people that all this stuff sounds nice and it's cute and everything, but until whatever these groups are decide to go somewhere and build infrastructure and then, put the plumbing in and building out, all the different buildings and building plans on, civilizing the place, I don't want to hear it, because it's just, really just women living off the backs of men still through their OF accounts or whatever else they're doing, talking about, I got this going on, like this lady here. What kind of man wants his woman that's on here? Like, what they do when they got the pillows like that? They're covering themselves up. This is a tactic that women do all the time. It doesn't make no sense to me. If you're going to be uncomfortable and need to cover yourself up with a pillow, then why did you dress that way in the first place? They do this kind of stuff all the time. I see it on, they start getting uncomfortable and they start pulling themselves up whenever they're starting to talk real about being a little bit less promiscuous, and it's just human behavior. They can't help it. And then they start putting pillows in front of them. That's their conscience speaking to them, and they're like making them feel guilty, and they can't even realize it. They're doing it mid podcast and don't even realize it. If you're covering yourself up with all this stuff, you're doing it because you're uncomfortable, because you know that that's probably not the way you should be conducting yourself, especially in front of this group of people. And now you're feeling uncomfortable. That don't take it like they're just trying to get themselves. No, they have them pillows there. I was married, man. I know what that kind of stuff's about. Okay? I know when women, they have real cool, like, they got these different covert ways of covering themselves up when they don't want to expose too much, or their belly's flopping over and they want to cover that up, or when they're taking them angled shot pictures, man. Some of them have purses and stuff covering up the stomach that's flapping over just to show the parts that they want to see. Listen, man, they do all kind of stuff. They do all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? What time we got going on, y'all? Oh, man, we got to close this up. Man, I can't go over 30 minutes. Let's wrap it up here. Let's see what
he's going to want you. And this is how a lot of women think. They don't, so you wouldn't be focused on what that type of man want or what he's looking for, because you think almost man want. I don't want to. There are you don't. I remember a young lady who are and most women hate to be wrong. So you don't want to.
People look at celebrities, right? Mm-hmm. We all can see them. Rich guys, NFL players, actors. What do they usually have when you see them when they choose a wife? Is she usually 40 with some other man's kids? Yes or no? On average?
No.
Exactly. So that's what we gotta base it off of.
But we don't have to.
What else are you gonna base it off of?
You can base it off of just you. Like I don't know. I just feel.
Okay, we're gonna get into another podcast here because they're just now getting into the thick of things. It's just getting juicy. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to miss out on that. But I gotta break this stuff up. Listen, y'all. I appreciate you guys joining me. As we were just talking about, and as the young lady Dee Dee said, rest in peace to KS, the Godfather. I know right now he's like, finally, they're taking off with it. Hey, look, we're going to take over with it. We're not going to let you down. You know what I'm saying? It continues. We just want to bring a balance back and, let everybody know that men are needed more so than ever right now. Let me go ahead and get myself a right chair. Oof. Real quick. Sorry about that, y'all. So, look, we're going to catch back up on this right where we left off at on the part 2, because it gets real delusional. Every time you start bringing in facts, they start talking about these anecdotal one-offs, instead of going off, the masses and what most people do. They want to, talk about these one-offs, and you're going to see the delusional reality coming out just to get their point across and never be wrong. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. Look, y'all, I'll be back on here in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Don't go too far. We'll probably not tonight. Maybe tonight. I don't know. But probably not. I'm going to get on TikTok. But I appreciate y'all joining me. Remember, hit the like button, share the live, and subscribe. I'm going to start doing these a whole lot because I'm going to be real. The reaction videos are the easiest videos to make. I'm not no shade to anybody out there that does them. All right? But doing a reaction video as opposed to making 20-30 minutes of a video walking around coming up with your own content, I gotta tell you, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? I move smart. I don't move, you know what I mean? But listen, y'all, appreciate y'all for joining me. Peace, love, and light. Be back on here later. If you want to join me on TikTok, do so. I might get back on here later. It's not that late, but I might not. I ain't gonna lie to you. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Stay blessed. Stay active. Let's get it. Let's go.